By the summer of 1939, Hitler had begun to push Germany down a path towards war harder than ever before. Though he had built his image at home and abroad as a peace seeker, making the moves for territory in the Rhine River Valley, Austria, and Sudetenland he did out of self-defense and in the interests of the historically and culturally German people in those areas, Hitler's vision for the future of Germany and thirst for empire could only be satiated by military conquest. As Germany stood, however, precariously between the loose alliance of Britain and France in the west and the Soviet Union in the east, an all-out war in Europe was untenable. The lessons from World War I had not been forgotten by Germany's military leaders or the German public, and Hitler would never be able to gain the support or enthusiasm he needed if he insisted on fighting another two-front war of attrition.
I think a common and dangerous misconception often made about Hitler today is the idea that he was a lone wolf actor in history who plunged the German people into a war against their will and was single-handedly responsible for the crimes and horrors committed by the German military in World War II. What should be seen instead, especially leading up to and early on in the war, is a negotiation of principles, strategies, and planning for war going on between Hitler and Germany's military leaders. Hitler's unique end goals for war, primarily the extermination of the Jewish race, remained intact, but the way and path by which Hitler waged war was definitely influenced and shaped by the desires of Germany's military leaders. I think the construction of the Nazi-Soviet pact is a perfect illustration of this. German military leaders rejected Hitler's plan to invade Czechoslovakia in 1938 because to them, a two-front war was not a justifiable option.
The Soviet Union agreed to remain neutral in Germany's military campaign, which gave Hitler and the military leaders of Germany the one-front war they so desired. But just as importantly, the agreement Hitler reached with Stalin carved Eastern Europe in a way that ensured Germany would gain access to massive deposits of metal, oil, and fertile agricultural land necessary to feed the industrial war machine Germany needed to keep the advantage in the highly mobile warfare they planned on waging in the West. Joseph, your neutrality is crucial to us. We want nothing else from the East than what we've laid out here. We're looking forward to a long, prosperous, peaceful relationship with the Soviet Union. Despite what Hitler's demeanor might suggest, the Nazi-Soviet pact was far from a definitive diplomatic German victory. The Soviet Union was perhaps the most detested nation in the Western world, including Nazi Germany. Aligning with the Soviet Union in a flimsy deal that Hitler knew would be broken was perhaps one of his greatest gambles, as it risked existing and potential relationships with particularly staunch anti-communist nations, including his favorite, Great Britain. Specifically, the pact immediately granted authority to the communist ideology and risked relationships with fascist Italy and Spain and the entire League of Nations.
The British government had known about the Nazi-Soviet negotiations since the beginning of August, but the pact came as a complete surprise to the British public, who found it hard to believe that communist, Hitler-hating Russia had made an alliance with Nazi, communist-hating Germany. They judged correctly that the pact was a cynical lie to devour Poland.
So, do we have a deal?
It's a me, Mussolini!
Ducha, it's not what it looks like. You weren't supposed to be back for an hour.
What about us? I thought we had something special.
You are special, Ducha. I need you. I'm nothing without you.
I don't need you. I don't need any of you. I'll show you. I'll show all of you. I'm going to Africa.